So we got primary colors with the kits tonight. A red versus Carolina blue affair. And SMU with first touch, and we're underway.
They're in a bit of a throwback with these colors, with the nuances and uniforms we see these days. This is seems like a pure matchup right here.
This is Jalen Mitchell with it at his feet. Gives back to perhaps swing it and reset. What do you make of SMU's strategy and what it might be against the Tar Heels in this one? There's a shot forward looking for Emmanuel, but Cortez is there.
Well, based on their first offensive possession, it looks like they're going to be pretty direct this evening. UNC is bringing a lot of high pressure, put this back line under. They've got a lot of experienced guys back there, so they're definitely not going to wilt. But I expect them to take it to this Carolina team. They've done a good job putting themselves in great offensive positions this season, but haven't always executed. So I know a big theme of tonight is to make sure they are repressing when they lose it, to keep the ball in high positions and try to deny this UNC team from really getting their stride against them.
North Carolina with it on the back line. Dylan Kropp has been a welcome addition. Here's Nacho Abial. Gives it away. And SMU takes it away back to Dominguez.
We can see UNC coming out, playing a very high line already. They're pressing to the 18, not giving SMU any space to find lanes to build out of the back.
Mustangs with a push. Long shot for Cortez, and Andrew Cortez knocks it down and reels it in.
Decent shot. First two offensive plays again for SMU have been very direct. You know, typically first ACC matchup between these two teams away from home. Definitely want to get the nerves out, so not surprising we've seen a few early clearances and trying to get numbers as high as possible.
Milton Lopez on the long shot attempt for the Mustangs. Tussle, and Emmanuel Mathe has it taken away. Back to the Stangs it goes. So SMU looking to push it. North Carolina with that high line is looking to create off of pressure. How do those two strategies maybe typically affect each other?
Yeah, well, just, typically in looking how this has started, SMU wants space. They're trying to push Carolina back and open up space to create lanes. Carolina wants to condense space. They want this game to be played within a 30-yard space. You can see every time they push up.
Dominguez quick to jump it from the feet of Abial, and then the SMU goalkeeper trips up the North Carolina player, Gabriel Bracken Serra.
And I'll tell you what I noticed, Darren, is this is a very cerebral play by Bracken Serra. Felt the contact, went down immediately. There's a reason he is the active scoring leader for this UNC team. Plays like that. Left the referee really with no choice but to call that one.
Well, I was going to say, you can go ahead and try to rip it with Dominguez on the ground, but he made that extra touch and sort of the sidestep to provoke that kind of movement and that desperation out of Dominguez.
That's a player with a lot of experience at this level, looking to get his team an early lead.
No surprise, this is going to go to review. So no penalty kick just yet. This would be, if it stands and it is a PK for North Carolina, a huge start for the Tar Heels.
Well, not surprising was Abial, who originally gets them into the play. But also coming into this, you've got Dominguez. He's on his second start of the season. They recently had a keeper change. So you put him under a decent amount of pressure, and he's going to be thinking about this for the rest of the match.
Not the start Kevin Hudson and company were hoping for.
Well, I think it's written all over his face. This is a big matchup. Obviously, first time coming up here, first ACC regular season matchup between these two teams, and that is not the start he wanted. But couldn't be a better start for these Tar Heels to be in have a scoring opportunity this early in the match. We mentioned they needed to be more effective in putting teams away and scoring early goals.
Quite the opportunity for Bracken Serra. And he floats it in to make it 1-0 North Carolina.
With the Panica, no less. What a confident way to earn that goal-scoring opportunity and then the finish. My goodness. And Dominguez was fairly intimidating on the line. There was a lot of action before that shot. Calm, cool, collected right down the middle. Ice in his veins.
A massive first score for the Tar Heels.
Well, he already led this team in career goals as well as assists for active players. He came in with 15. That's his 16th of his career.
Third as a Tar Heel for the graduate transfer from the University of San Francisco. And now some pressure. And Dominguez forced to clear it out, but North Carolina is going to retain possession rather quickly.
Well, Darren, scoring within the first 5 minutes plays right into Carolina's game plan. They can just rack up the pressure even more. And now all of the pressure, literally and figuratively, is on this SMU Mustang team.
Mustangs, as you had pointed to, were already being pretty forceful with an attack. I'd expect that to at least stay the same, if not ratchet up even more.
Well, now you have to be very careful building out of the back. You cannot afford another mistake or just untimely opportunity.
So Owen Zarnick gives to Slade Starnes on the back line as they're going to try to be maybe a little more methodical here. Nice move. Jalen Mitchell. And contact and a whistle. So it'll stay with SMU. Well, Carlos Samuano there has to be pleased with this start.
It's not often you get a smile out of Coach Samuano, but that's probably as close as we're going to get. Yes, he's very pleased with this start. He specifically mentioned in our pre-match call the importance of starting off fresh, the importance of everyone being dialed in and them coming out together as a unit as they continue their development early in this season.
Long ball tried for Mitchell. Mustangs send it off the end line, so this will be a goal kick for Cortez.
And we know this, from a UNC perspective, they want their defensive pressure to create offensive opportunities. Only given up 1 goal in the last 3 matches. So it's been a very strong defensive unit, so that is definitely carrying over thus far.
We got to look at Kevin Hudson earlier. I don't know if he's any more pleased now that his Mustangs are down 1-0, but this is a Mustangs lifer. He's been their head coach since 2015, but a player there in the early 2000s, member of the College Cup team at SMU in 2000. He's got a lot invested in this program, and you could tell when we talked to him earlier this week.
That's extremely passionate. You can tell he lives and bleeds SMU soccer. Now,
takeaway, long shots. And a deflection. That was a ripe opportunity for Luka Nikolai.
Coach Hudson knows how good this team can be. I mean, they came into the season with very lofty expectations, ranked as high as 5th nationally in some polls.
Nikolai knocks it out off of an SMU defender and sets up a corner kick for North Carolina. Nikolai, another newcomer, very successful at JMU. Defensive Player of the Year in the Sun Belt Conference. Low lying, and the header try is just wide.
Was that Riley Berge down there? No, that was not Berge. I thought Berge was about to get his second in 2 games.
Callum Froxson here, number 23 in blue.
The FAU transfer who's had a very successful stint down there. You mentioned Nikolai having such a successful stint at James Madison. Came into the season with very lofty expectations. The number 9 ranked player in the country coming into the season.
More possession in the attacking third here for the Tar Heels. Abial covered up, and they'll send it to the back line. Long ball for Abial. Lands with Bracken Serra. There's Jack Sandmeyer. Quick touch, gets it back to Abial. Centers up. Keeps it low. Back to Abial. And another chip shot this time. Sent high by Nikolai.
These Tar Heels are doing such a great job keeping this SMU team pinned into their own half. Specifically, their 2 interior midfields have done a great job directing traffic. Quick pivots, the ball's they're getting expansive opportunities on the wing and trying to open it up in a condensed space.
Tightly contested passes. The closer to the middle of the pitch SMU gets. There's the ball forward. Berge fights for it for North Carolina.
You can see the confidence growing in Berge's game as he's successfully seized his opportunity. And again, that goal he scored against Memphis, I had the opportunity to coach Berge a couple summers ago, and he is equally as good of a young man. High character guy, waited his opportunity in an environment where everyone transfers and no one really has the patience to see it through anymore. Has waited his opportunity. He is absolutely making the most of it.
Timeout for injury here. Vilas Landsberg is the player down for SMU.
And he's a big player for SMU. The Wofford transfer, Coach Hudson referred to him as the most complete player on that back line, and that is saying something because there are 2 very other good players on that back line with him. You know, that possession leading up to what looks like hopefully slight injury. I counted 10 passes. That by far the most successful possession SMU has had thus far. Had some patience, were able to get players higher up the pitch and force UNC back, which we haven't seen in the first 10 minutes.
And Landsberg is going to come off, but maybe briefly.
He's played every minute for this team this season, the only player to do so, so it would be very surprising to see him go out.
North Carolina throws it in play. Landsberg back onto the field. Berge reverses field. Now ahead. Oh, cut off. Enzo Pinozo keeping it away from Nacho Abial.
Pinozo, one of the vocal leaders of this team. He was a walk-on a couple of years ago and has earned a lot of time last year and has been a fixture in the starting lineup this season.
Pinozo trying to push. Goes center of the pitch. Milton Lopez knocked to the ground. Mitchell out wide with a cross, and Cordes snuffs it out. was the most developed opportunity we've really seen so far from SMU, but here's North Carolina with a chance at a counter. And too many red jerseys ultimately.
Well, SMU has looked much better, much more complete in the last few minutes. All their success is really going through Mitchell on the left wing. The preseason ACC watch list selection, very dynamic. He can get them into space very quickly.
Mitchell back to the back line. Charles-Emile Brunet gives it backward. Owen Zarnik ahead for Emmanuel, who pokes it away from Cortez and keeps it with SMU. Through ball is deflected by North Carolina.
Cortez misjudged Emmanuel's change of pace there a little bit. He got to that ball very quickly.
You can tell, seeing it in person, that is a huge part of what makes Emmanuel such a great player on that front side.
Well, we see the impact in this game with him getting opportunities that high. Look how high the SMU back line is now compared to where they've been the whole match. So his explosiveness in creating opportunities allows this team to progress forward.
Daniel Escorcia loses the possession from SMU. Dylan Kropp fired up after the takeaway. And a physical play, Mathe against Escorcia.
See Escorcia coming here, getting ahead, you know, thus taking advantage of maybe some of the naivete of the freshmen over there, but good job filling contact, same as we saw on the penalty kick and going down. Nothing malicious about that, it's a hard-fought foul.
And a yellow card issue. That was maybe after a pause and deliberation.
Again, Escorcia did a good job of going down when he felt contact there.
Brunet on the set piece. First two touches were North Carolina, and it will be the Heels' possession.
Even in a world of VAR and other review technologies, it's still referee discretion. And sometimes the optics of a foul, you know, may supersede the actual foul itself. So.
Well, we had seen just the play prior, Escorcia, emotions on his sleeve in battling with Kropp of North Carolina, so maybe not that difficult a task for him. You know, some guys you gotta pull it out of them.
Well, specifically, Coach Hudson was so complimentary of his work ethic. Empties his tank every single day for this team, and he's really one of the unsung heroes. He may not be as vocal, but he leads through his style of play and passion.
A window at a chance there for North Carolina. Bertil Rygard Hansen with a cross that was knocked away. Then it was back at his feet. Now back to the middle third of the field. Play Mitchell. SMU with some pace here. They have some space as well. And North Carolina with the takeaway.
It's a great job by the UNC defense compacting in a situation they almost had numbers down. But this game has really evened out. Possession has been even for the last 5 to 10 minutes. SMU has had many more opportunities. They're winning many more second balls. They are repressing effectively, which was a core tenet of their style of play coming in here.
Mukisa Emmanuel takes it back, seemingly with relative ease, to keep it with SMU there.
And we've seen him do that a couple of times now. Keep the play going.
Yeah, just physical, forceful.
Yep.
And Abial rips it away from Pinozo to get it back for the Tar Heels.
We see the chess match continuing to evolve. We see UNC now taking a more measured approach, taking their time, knocking it around a little bit before they go, trying to find the appropriate pivot and lane to build. Not quite as intentional as they were in the first 10 minutes going forward.
Across the field, here's Nacho Abial. Handles into space and is roughed up, trying to split defenders.
Abial sees the field so well. He sees this lane parting in the middle and makes a quick touch. And that was a 1v3, and he wins the foul.
Alex Salvo stuck his foot in there. Here's Abial into the box, crosses low, and it's knocked out at the end line. So a corner kick for North Carolina again.
We've only watched 15 minutes, and it's very easy to see how Abial leads this team in every offensive system.
Bracken Serra on for the corner kick. Far side, a tap by Kropp, a sliding shot attempt that banged between a couple of defenders. So North Carolina stays with it and is rewarded with another corner kick.
Great composure by Kropp in the box. He's already got one goal in the season, setting himself up for another opportunity.
The German Nikolai issues the corner. Kropp far side, hangs with it. Too strong with his left, and it's out of bounds.
Rarely are we going to see two back-to-back penalties called. But again, very smart by these Tar Heels. That is part of the game. When you feel contact in the box, you are taught to go down. Kropp, good job as a defender, keeping that one alive, creating another dangerous opportunity.
Bracken Serra to Jack Sandmeyer, now all the way to the back to Berge. Might North Carolina look to possess here as they did on that last possession? Bracken Serra, quick tap to the far side. Berge jumps it. Got it back for North Carolina. Long try at it, and it misses high.
We mentioned the UNC interior mid. Sandmeyer has done a great job of traffic controller. And he's really taken ownership of controlling the midfield. He's resetting possession when they lose it, keeping numbers high. He's doing a great job communicating as what's in front of him.
Another one of those newcomers for North Carolina, San Diego transfer. Been a season of a lot of change for Carlos Samuano from year to year. Abial tries it through the middle for Bracken Serra. Coverage by SMU.
Sandmeyer new to the league, but has had his fair share of success. Scored the winning goal to knock out Duke last year for San Diego in the NCAA tournament.
Here's Emmanuel. One touch, and it's right to Cortez. Sharp angle. Didn't really have the openness in the attack that he would like.
Emmanuel's such a force. Did a great job holding his run there to make sure he was on sides, and then just a change of pace to get himself in a scoring opportunity. Gets a good shot. Not much pace on it. Easy one for Cortez to collect. See Emmanuel currently, after the results of last night, tied for 7th in the ACC in scoring with 4.
Adam Steen for North Carolina, but Andrew Check has it knocked away.
Speaking of transfers, we'll just get a look at Slade Starnes. The Furman transfer coming in for SMU. Coach Hudson very high on him. Tremendous player for Furman, was their captain last year, all SoCon Conference. Tremendous aerial threat, does a great job seeing the game and controlling it from the back.
Abial low, it's saved by Dominguez. Second chance for Bracken Serra goes out of bounds off of an SMU defender.
We see once again, it's Abiel getting into the attack. He does such a good job of getting into the box, getting the early shot, trying to get a deflection. And no surprise, Bracken Serra is right there to pick it up. Another corner earned for these Tar Heels.
Bracken Serra as it's set up at the near side for the corner. Far side crop. Grounds it, and that sails through everybody and off the end line.
Now, one change I've seen the last 2 goal kicks. SMU's now building out of the back. You know, early on there were big clearances, getting numbers up the field. We've seen the game change as it settled down, going to more possession, which they've done a great job of. Arguably had more of the possession in the last maybe 5 to 7 minutes.
Abial right there to stop a run. Yeah, which is not quite what I expected. The way they opened and then to get down 1-0, it's almost a more conservative approach.
It really is. You would expect the opposite. But it's sending a message. You guys are going to press us. Well, we're going to build out of the back. We're not changing our game based on the opponent.
And that's not to say that I believe it's a bad idea either, right? Because it's just a 1-goal game, right? There's plenty of time. If you build it the right way, you're going to have opportunities.
Correct.
Renee gets it out of some trouble. Now has it back. Ball too far ahead for Emmanuel.
And that's really the only forced opportunity we've seen lately. Have been much more patient, have done a good job getting numbers higher, using, this is from an SMU perspective, featuring their interior mids and using an inside-outside theme to open it up. And as a result, they've had more opportunity.
Bracken Serra targeted on the throw-in. And the Mustangs clearance. Brogson unable to run it down.
Just noticed the pace has slowed measurably, noticeably in the last few minutes. Must point out it is unseasonably warm September evening in Chapel Hill.
That's a great point. Something to keep in mind. This one, I mean, here we are on September 20th at feels like weather-wise it's playing a little bit more like an opening week match.
Oh, absolutely. Feels every bit of August.
There's another long try. One hop, Cordes has it.
But that doesn't seem to have really impacted the league. It seems as the heat has been cranked up this weekend. So
yeah, well,
so I was the score line.
I was just about to say, with all the scoring we've had, no surprise that we got a goal first 5 minutes of this one, right? I mean, how about Virginia, 6 goals to knock off #1 Wake Forest last night?
It's going to be a very fun season to follow this league. Riley Berge stepping in once again with the great defensive play to stop that run from Emmanuel. It's amazing the confidence that being on Sports Center will give you. Again, 3rd straight start. This will be his 6th career appearance. That's really what it's all about. When preparation meets opportunity, good things happen, and that has most certainly been the case for Riley Berge.
Coming off of that first goal in the game against Memphis. A bit more measured approach from the Mustangs. Throw it in. Nozo taps to Brunet, who's tripped up from behind to Jack Sandmeyer.
Brunet's movement has been excellent to open this game. He's really been the key in the middle. He's playing a little bit higher now. He's epitomizing a box-to-box midfielder. He's mostly been collecting the balls off of his center backs, but doing a good job creating a very scoring opportunity, or at least a dangerous offensive opportunity and a high place up the pitch.
Brunet and Mitchell on top of the dead ball, so we'll see what SMU decides to do with it. It's a tap to Mitchell, back for Brunet. Little give and go. Mitchell out wide, and it's knocked out of bounds at the end line. Kropp the last to touch it for North Carolina, so an SMU corner coming.
That was a quality set piece right there. A lot of back and forth on that. Very well-timed set piece. Mitchell gets there and nearly knocks that back across the 6, which was the intent.
With the focused physicality Emmanuel has displayed in this too, there's a lot of value in just getting it in there. There's a try that goes over top of the crossbar. Maybe didn't get all of it. Milton Lopez on the attempt. It looked like maybe it was a little high up on his leg.
I see it again, just couldn't quite collect that and hit it cleanly. And he wants it back. Yep, took just a little bounce before he struck it. He's saying, I'm wide open, play that to me on the ground, and this will knock in.
Clanton Pimentel, as well as Luis Flores, now onto the pitch for SMU. Brunet pursued by Czech of North Carolina there. Tarheels back to that intense pressure.
That's the perfect way to describe Andrew Czech, as he brings the pressure. He's a vocal leader for this UNC team. He demands excellence from his teammates, one of the standard bearers of this team, but he leads through example.
First touch for Clanton Pimentel. Scorsia, deflected by Mathey. Here it is, long for Emmanuel. Berge knocks it away, and the flag was up anyway.
Riley Berge once again. That's a difficult ball to bring down. He's running backwards. He's got Emmanuel, one of the best scorers in the ACC right now, coming full force. Great collection to force that handball to get the free kick. Actually offsides there. Got started a little bit too early.
But in the event that that was not off, that was a really good pass intended for Emmanuel that Berge upset.
Berge's on the job.
So now some substitutions for North Carolina. Bracken Serra will get a breather. Ryan Dugan on for Nacho Abial. Till Rygaard Hansen with a breather as well. Lucas Ross into the contest. Into the box. Dugan back to Mathing. Drop to Frogson to reset. And Check was contacted from behind as he received that.
Foul on Brunet, who's been involved. He's all over the place right now. Doing most of the work in the midfield offensively, and he's getting stuck in defensively as well. Former Central Arkansas player, Coach Hudson said he brings creativity and fluidity to this midfield. We've seen that on display thus far.
Yeah, no doubt. Been very involved. Here's Brunet, center of the attack. Now back out to Mitchell. Frogson on the defense, forces a swing. Captain Pimentel squares himself up. Sandmeyer got in the way of the pass.
SMU is being much more patient offensively, and you can see the results. They are taking the time to switch the point of attack, trying to create overloads on one side and find isolation on the other, and they're finding quick pivots in lanes. And the result, they're able to keep possession much higher and put UNC under some pressure.
Way down into the corner. Berge on the defense forces it out. That was Escorcia, who we've seen active on the near side, active on the far side there.
Oh, he buzzes around. Again, he is on display exactly how Coach Hudson described him. He leaves everything he has on the pitch and empties his tank every single evening.
Coach Hudson referred to him as a pit bull in our conversation with him prior to this matchup. Jack Sandmeyer getting some attention.
I can see it. You know, what is a attribute of a pit bull? They're typically pretty relentless, and we've seen that on display thus far.
So 1-0, if you were maybe a little late tuning in, you might have missed it. Gabriel Bracken Serra, the heady play to force the foul in the box, thus a penalty kick. And just floats it right down Broadway to make it a 1-0 match.
Absolute class, Darren. Absolute class. Class creating the scoring opportunity and drawing the PK, and then what a footballer's goal to put that one away.
In the 4th minute, no less. Ideal start for the Tar Heels. So far for North Carolina, through 2 ACC matches, it's been a couple of draws.
And those draws have happened to have been against the 1st and 2nd ranked teams in the country, in Wake Forest and North Carolina State. Just really an example of the ceiling. I mean, the ACC in general, you know, 6 teams ranked this week, 3 in the top 3. 8 ranked coming into the season. So every night you know it's going to be a battle, but you know we can see the ceiling this North Carolina team has.
I think it's evident with SMU as well. A team that in the preseason was ranked as high as number 5. North Carolina stifles the attempt.
And Darren, I would absolutely agree. This SMU team is a quality side. And we knew that coming in based on the names on the back of the jerseys. But they've played good football tonight. Hasn't quite reflected on the score sheet yet, but done a much better job of looking more confident, playing within their style, keeping possession. They've repressed extremely well. They're winning balls back, and momentum has definitely tilted some in terms of it being a more even match.
Brunet sends it to the center. Emmanuel one tap back, now ahead. Clanton Pimentel against Mathey, breaking him down. Squares it up. Nobody there for the through ball.
Trying to find Brunet on that. Just played it, just missed him by a couple of feet.
Mustangs still at it. Mitchell from the corner. Hard turn. He's aggressively tackled in the box.
Well, we complimented Bracken Serra for his ability to draw a PK. We see the same thing on this side. Mitchell, great job keeping this ball alive. Keeps it active, gets in the box, creates enough contact. That's a PK, well earned.
He faked out Nikolai. And so now Mitchell, who's in search of his first goal of the season, will have a prime opportunity for that.
Well, we were just speaking about the momentum of this game changing and it not quite reflecting on the score sheet yet. Here we have the first legitimate goal-scoring opportunity for these Mustangs. And again, Mitchell, good job. Keeping it alive, and that's the goal. As a striker, as an outside midfielder in the box, just keep it alive. Keep it alive. You keep it alive, good things happen. It puts the defense under pressure. He's so dynamic and shifty. And just that extra touch at the end forced Nikolai into a compromising position.
It is under review, but the call that would need to be definitively overturned is a foul on Nikolai inside the box, thus a penalty kick.
And usually you can tell by a player's reaction. His immediate reaction was, that was a PK.
It will be the case. SMU with an opportunity to tie it. It was a penalty kick for North Carolina in the 4th minute that gave them the lead.
Looks like Emmanuel's going to step up to take this.
Four goals in the last 4 games played for Mukisa Emmanuel.
I don't think we'll see a Panake on this one. I think we'll see a little bit more power behind this one. Let's see.
Emmanuel 1 for 1 scoring on PKs this season. And he shoves it into the corner.
Makes quick work of that one. Without hesitation or much build up, goes straight to the corner. Well taken PK. Now we have a game, Darren. Quick run up. Cortez had it. Cortez knew exactly where it was going. Emmanuel put it where it wasn't going to be saved.
Cortez even looked like he got fingertips on it.
He read it extremely well. He was there. That had to be inside netting or it was going to be saved. But that's what a goal scorer does. He was 7th in the ACC coming into tonight. That'll move him up a few places.
5th goal of the season. And we're even on PKs.
We've already reached the total of the last game. 2 goals scored in 2017, right?
Yeah. All right, so how does this figure to change things for each side?
Well, from an SMU perspective, we said it didn't start well.
Yeah.
It is ending in great fashion. They've worked their way back into this, and most importantly, they've stayed authentic to their style. You know, they are a team, as we see as the game opened up, they want to build out of the back. They want to have possession. They want to use their interior mids and break lines and move up together. They've looked very good. From UNC perspective, I would only expect the pressure to ratchet up now. It's subsided to some degree in the middle of that half, largely because SMU has been so effective.
And there's the pressure. Creates a takeaway. Dan Klink gets rid of it, check. And now a hard foul on Luka Nikolai. SMU with some pressure of their own.
Well, SMU was already in this game, but after the goal, they just looked much more confident as we see them building out of the back with increasing confidence as this game progresses.
Mustangs another takeaway. After his successful PK, Mukisa Emmanuel did check out.
Assuming he is catching a quick rest for the definitive second half. I don't think he'll be sitting over there very long.
And we've seen it come into fashion across the country this season with substitution rule changes, right? A lot of the times teams will wait for those substitutions to not start the second half, but re-enter later in the second half. With Emmanuel, I'm not so sure he won't be back as the second half starts at the latest.
At the very latest, if not in this first half.
Yeah.
We saw his look on his face. He's ready to get back in. But yes, you're exactly right with the changes and substitutions and general changes over the years. Coaching has changed, you know, in terms of you remember back in the golden ages, you went maybe 3 deep on your bench.
Yeah.
You know, now it allows you to get a lot more guys exposed. You keep guys fresher. Hopefully, decrease injuries, but definitely can keep guys as fresh as possible throughout a match.
Set piece for North Carolina. Interesting deke try. Nikolai offers it into the box, headed, and over top of the goal. Dan Klink skied up there to get it.
And Klink is a consistent aerial threat. We've already seen him with 2 header opportunities in front of the goal. This one just went a little high. Didn't get a clean connection on that one.
And in fact, it stays with North Carolina on a corner kick, so he was not the last to touch it.
Klink coming in with quite the pedigree. Last year's Gatorade National Player of the Year, scholastically.
Ryan Dugan from the corner. Far side. And a swipe by Berge sends it over the concourse.
Berge wanted to be on SportsCenter again. He almost hit that cleanly. You saw by the reaction. Again, the confidence has increased.
Many Tar Heels there on the top of the formation, but a second chance. Brunei skips it through. Cordes allows it to roll out of bounds.
Tar Heels have done a very effective job of stopping counterattacks for the most part by condensing as a unit and getting numbers behind the ball. SMU is winning the majority of second balls right now. We just saw Brene win that one on the outlet, which keeps them in an offensive position.
And that bounces out.
Darren, this is a great atmosphere for soccer. That pep band absolutely having a joyous time down there in the stands.
Nikolai for check. Quick first touch, got by the initial defender, but help there for the Mustangs. They tried it ahead, and again, nobody there.
Now, with the manual in the game, most of those passes are either over the top or a lot more direct. Without him in the game, they try to find guys pinched underneath and making those runs, and they're a little bit more strategic in trying to find those lanes. I don't think you have to hide where you're going when you have a manual in. You just want to get them the ball as quickly as possible.
Or, you know, if it's not as direct as you're talking about, Emmanuel has shown a propensity to just go get it.
Absolutely.
Right? Even if it's a North Carolina defender who is nearest to the ball, that's not necessarily possession Tar Heels.
Absolutely.
One of the many ways he can benefit a team and impact a game in a big way. Nice touch there. Clanton Pimentel crosses over, and it's just high of the crossbar.
That was a very quality build. Good distribution. See Pimentel getting himself open. Great first touch to get in the box. It's a quality ball back to the 18.
It's the first touch, I think, for Stepfan Sagomonian.
He put himself in a good position. Did all the work off the ball to put himself there. Just something to be left on, desired in the execution.
Here he is again. Sends it out wide, some time for North Carolina to recover. All the way across to the other side and too far. 4 minutes remaining in the first half. 1-1. A penalty kick successful for both sides to this point.
I'd say this is an accurate scoreline. This has been a very even match. Started off very much in favor of the Tar Heels, stylistically as well as scoreline, and it's tremendously even out over the last 20-30 minutes.
Hard tackle, North Carolina with possession though.
And we've seen a role reversal. You know, North Carolina is now mostly one and done on these opportunities, where we see SMU keeping possession for longer, getting their players in more dangerous positions rather.
Flores called for the foul there of SMU on a physical challenge, and then he and Sandmeyer. But it will be Flores who receives the yellow card.
It's usually the one who finishes it who gets the yellow card.
Yeah.
In this case, astute referee keeping an eye on it. Looks like Flores initially started that.
Dugan wraps the pass around, but can't connect with a teammate. stylistically, SMU's comfortable attacking multiple ways. Right, it's the long balls to Emmanuel, but at the same time, I'm looking at the stats for our first half here with just over 2 minutes remaining, and they're not shooting at the frequency that North Carolina is, but you could argue that the quality of shot is better.
Definitely, because the possession required to get them in position, they're taking the time to build offensively and put themselves to get the best shot possible, not just a shot. No, I've been quite impressed as this SMU team has evolved and really gotten themselves into this game. And you mentioned their different methods of attack. We saw them being very direct early. We've seen them breaking lines and finding channels in the middle. And then most recently, we've really seen this back line doing a great job of swinging possession and pivoting from side to side and trying to find the right lane where they have isolation to get down one of the wings.
And as you've mentioned a couple of times, it feels like they really trust the system and what they're doing in a given possession.
Well, yeah, you can tell players know where they should be. And it is somewhat of a positionless brand where you see guys rotating in and out, and everyone knows, you can tell they're very well coached. Everyone knows where they need to be in this formation and how they want to build. Everyone's on the same page.
It'd be really interesting to see what adjustments are made by both SMU and North Carolina. And that cross poked away. So SMU with some pressure here late in the first half. Well outside, trying to get it inside the box.
And look at this, Darren. This game is being played within a 30-yard space right now, with UNC absolutely pinned back nearly to their 18, all 11 players.
Finally, a clearance for the Tar Heels with 10 seconds left in the half.
8, 7, 6, 5,
Errant pass. Landsberg skips it. And the clock hits 0. Tied up at a goal apiece, both on penalty kicks.
I would absolutely agree. This UNC team, and there's no wrong way. There's a lot of different ways to be effective in scoring. This UNC team has been taking quick shots, looking for a lot of opportunities. We've seen some of those shots have come off of corners and set pieces, where with SMU it has come from the run of play, and they've worked themselves into dangerous positions and very, in the box typically.
Back heel touch for Nacho Abial, back on for North Carolina. Mukisa Emmanuel is back in for SMU as well.
And first thing I noticed, obviously we're only 30 seconds into this half, but SMU has a lot less time and space in the midfield. They seem to have plenty of space to find lanes and interchange runs towards the end of that second half, but Carolina has ratcheted this pressure up as expected.
Slade Starnes, the Dallas native, pushes, gives it back out for Jalen Mitchell, who created the PK scenario for SMU in the first half. Now to the back line, and it's back to Starnes. Across, and a long ball tried. Dylan Kropp heads it away for North Carolina. Nobody was there for North Carolina to regain it. Mitchell to Emmanuel, back to Mitchell. Deflected by the Tar Heels. Charles-Emile Brunet regains it for SMU.
Brunet is such a creative guy, and a lot of his work is done off the ball. Works off the ball, consistently moving to put himself in positions to be an outlet. These Tar Heels have to do a better job of winning second balls in the second half. We're good early on, definitely diminished as the half went on, and SMU had the advantage. Early on, SMU has won the first 2 second balls of this half.
A couple of awkward touches for Jack Sandmeyer. This time it gives it back to SMU. And Sandmeyer there to stifle Emmanuel's try. possession from the first half, an even 50-50 split between these two teams.
That's what it felt like. You know, watching it real time, definitely in favor of the Tar Heels early on, evened out in favor of SMU towards the end of the half.
Riley Berge tried a deep ball intended for Bertil Rygaard Hansen. He's got great finishing ability. Has not found himself in many opportunities through a half plus of this.
Second in the team in points last year.
Nacho Abiol forces it out of bounds. Quickly goes back the way of the Mustangs.
SMU seems to be the more connected team right now. You know, in terms of off-ball movement, in terms of knowing where their teammates are going to be, and just a more fluid attack.
Yeah, a lot of awkward touches, passes not quite where they ideally would be for North Carolina early in the second half, it seems.
Yeah, and I think the way SMU ended that half, I mean, they were definitely the aggressor. Whereas early on, we saw the pressure from North Carolina creating turnovers and opportunities.
Jalen Mitchell creates a takeaway for SMU. Unable to really push it. So now sort of a conventional set offense, but a pass ahead. Emmanuel on the ground, and Cordes stops it.
And now with Emmanuel back in the game, we see that directness. You can play him through, and as you mentioned, Darren, he can just go get it. It's kind of like having a 7-footer in basketball. You just throw it up at the rim and they go get it. It's the same with having a guy like Emmanuel up front. Quick ball in. He quickly gets in behind Berge. Cordes does a good job getting down to save that.
Good through ball from Daniel Escorcia. And as we saw in the first half, sometimes it is right there at Emmanuel's feet. Other times it requires some physicality, maybe a little bit of creativity.
Well, he's a guy that makes you look good as a midfielder, because you can play him a bad ball and he'll still get it and make you look like it was a good ball.
Emmanuel Mathé knocked over. And that gives up possession. Great jump on the pass by Dylan Kropp. Gets it to Rygaard Hansen. And just too much congestion there for North Carolina to create anything. Now Brunet ahead. Emmanuel just a step behind him. Still working against Frogson. And it's out for an SMU corner.
Again, started from Brunet in the midfield with the distribution. One thing about Emmanuel as well, I've noticed, is he can attack from so many different positions. You know, he can play with his back to goal. We've seen him hold it up a few times. He can run straight forward and play through balls, but also does a good job getting expansive at times and getting the ball in a wing position where he can be creative and go 1v1 and then get into the box.
This is just the second corner kick for SMU tonight.
And we'll see if they earn more corners in the second half, if the disparity in the shots on goal changes.
Escorcia keeps it low. And it skips away. Vilas Landsberg floated it. Second chance, third chance really for SMU here. And a long strike out of bounds. Luis Flores, who was at the center of some chippiness prior to the break, issued a yellow card with that attempt.
Been a very well managed game, I'd say, from a referee standpoint, but did get a little chippy, but I think in a healthy way. You know, that was inspiring to teammates, and his team seemed to feed off of that chippiness.
One touch at a time. SMU trying to advance it. North Carolina with the takeaway. Emmanuel Mathey. All the way into the corner and then shoved to the ground.
Mathey's going to be a player. I've been very impressed with him. He's a true freshman out of British Columbia. Came up through the Vancouver Whitecaps Academy, but we see him getting involved offensively. He's done a great job defending his position 1v1. You can see just scratching the surface on what he will eventually bring to this Tar Heel squad.
It's an interesting mix for Carlos Simwano and these Tar Heels this year. I mean, 15 newcomers. Not something this program really has needed to deal with in recent years. Set piece.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, a lot of transfers, several guys drafted. And speaking with Coach Simwano before the game, one thing he mentions, they're still getting to know each other. You know, they came in the preseason, half of them barely knew each other's names. But there's a certain enjoyment that comes with that. A lot of these transfers have really taken on being standard bearers for this university. Most importantly, these guys are older. You know, they've had experiences at several other schools. They understand what it means to play at Carolina. You know, they understand the level of players they're surrounded with and the opportunity. So he's very optimistic, again, about the ceiling this team has for this season.
Rygaard Hansen flicks it back. Now it goes wide to check. He crosses and doesn't have a teammate there. Cleared out, at least momentarily, by the Mustangs. So SMU will swing it across and repossess. This North Carolina team, with that in mind, Cedric, stands to be an interesting test case because it is a lot of experienced transfers as newcomers. What's the dynamic in terms of, if you've got returners, obviously they are long integrated into the program, right? You assume that on-ramp is shorter for a more experienced player. So maybe there doesn't need to be as much gelling as if you had an incredibly young team, right? I think that's where this North Carolina team, as the season progresses, we're going to learn a lot about that mix and just how it plays out.
Sure, I think the game has changed tremendously with the new transfer portal rules for most of the top echelon of teams in college soccer. But specifically, yes, instead of bringing along a freshman class and looking at how they're going to develop over 2-3 years and different guys are going to contribute, for these teams, and we see it on display, it's almost a buffet every year where you can pick the players from around the country that fit those positions, and you've already seen them play for 3 or 4 years. So it's not how will they develop, you already know what they are.
Brunet sends it wide right. So much ado about nothing for North Carolina's defense there.
Brunet again, he's been so integral for this team. Right idea. Just put that one about 4 or 5 feet wide, but it had the proper spin. And you mentioned how the high percentage of shots on goal. We've seen the first couple of shots not on goal to start this second half.
Yeah, SMU now an even 50% of their shots on goal. 8 total, 4 on goal. Compared to North Carolina's 2 of 10 on goal.
Well, I'd say from a stylistic standpoint, what we've seen is now SMU are taking shots from distance. You know, they're looking to get that second goal and pressing a little bit more, where UNC up until that play has been building, you know, has been a little more methodical. So the chess match and oscillation continues as each team feeds off of the counter moves from each other.
It was off of Luka Nicolai's foot. Remember, he had a couple of instances in the first half where he felt like he had a window, sent both of those over top the crossbar as well.
Well, he's an experienced guy who's obviously, we know what he can do defensively, but has contributed throughout his career quite a bit on the offensive end, and we'll look to get, as this game progresses, I imagine we'll see him more and more involved offensively as they push numbers high.
Brunei centers it up. Now to the back. SMU just trying to get this alignment to move around and shift for North Carolina. Dylan Kropp hit the ground pretty hard. And a whistle. Otherwise, that would have been a man down for North Carolina and a clear advantage on an attack for SMU.
Well, how did that all start again, Brunei? And his off-the-ball movement. We see an entry pass and on the left, and then he comes over to the right. Looks like an inadvertent elbow. Accurate foul call.
Sandmeyer had it for North Carolina, and it's poked away. Now a tap ahead. Flores is there. Berge swipes it, and it's saved from going out of bounds. That's quite the clearance by North Carolina.
It is on both fronts. Berge with the initial clearance, and then Klepp over there in the corner.
Check just a tad too strong on the first touch as it came down to his feet. Now challenging Bernay. Landsberg finds Jalen Mitchell, the creator on this attack for SMU. Works his way around Frogson. And gets a deflection out of bounds. A corner kick for SMU coming up.
It was a great 1v1 recovery from Riley Berg. Mitchell has already drawn and created one penalty kick rather this evening, and he was in the box in a very dangerous position. See Mitchell win that initial battle with Frogson, and then Riley Berg, as a center back should, has his back, ushers him to the line. Earned a corner, but could have been far worse.
So a couple of corners in this second half already for SMU as they continue to press the issue. Nay this time. The red shirt's near. We'll stay on that side.
It does seem from objectively, SMU is playing to win this game right now, and these Tar Heels are playing not to lose. Is really how this comes across. SMU being much more aggressive, really pushing the agenda.
Brunei throws it to Flores.
Diversification of this attack from SMU has really caused these Tar Heels have a lot more to worry about now. You know, early in the first half, it was all going through Mitchell down the left side, and now they're attacking down the middle. So, I mean, the space has definitely changed. Whereas UNC could stay very compact defensively, did an excellent job in the first half of eliminating counterattacks. We've seen SMU being more dangerous as they've diversified their attack.
I think the other thing in the first half, too, if it wasn't Mitchell creating, it was sort of selling out for a ball in the direction of Emmanuel, who's had a couple of opportunities, but he has not been the centerpiece early in this second half that he was.
Absolutely. We saw it very direct, but now these guys are attacking. A lot of different guys are getting in dangerous positions.
Brunei from just outside the box sends it way too strong.
Brunei immediately drops down. That's the second free kick opportunity he's had in the last 10 minutes, and he's put wide right. He was going for the home run finish on that one. He had
yeah, the past two times, as you alluded to. That was not quite as close as the first. Minguez comes up and grabs it for SMU. Now here's Brunei, who chipped it up and perhaps off of his hand back down to his feet.
very fortunate. It was inadvertent, of course, but still hit his hand in elevated position. Fortunate for that not to be called a handball, because it would have been a very advantageous position for the Tar Heels to gain possession.
Mitchell flicks it, no one there. Frogson now maybe a little leisurely to get to it, with Emmanuel breathing down his neck.
Good thing Riley Berg was on the job.
Nikolai pushing for North Carolina. Rygaard Hansen gives it right back. And Brunet the stopper.
And we see Nikolai, as we just discussed, taking a higher line, pushing the agenda for these Tar Heels. Expect to see him more involved as the game goes on.
Hard tackle. And it's SMU's possession.
It was a hard tackle, but a timely tackle. Bracken Serra was in.
Owen Zarnik was involved on that play and is the reason for the pause in the action here.
Zarnik, we mentioned the prevalence of the transfer portal. Zarnik, he's an original SMU guy. Preseason number 47 in the country. Started all 21 matches and led this back line last year. That's a quality tackle to save a goal scoring opportunity, but it did look like his leg got caught under him. Hope he's okay.
Great effort against North Carolina's lone goal scorer so far in this game, Gabriel Bracken Serra. Well, this is held up. This has been a match that we expected to be contentious. And now head coach Kevin Hudson coming out to check on his senior Zarnik.
Zarnik has been such an important piece of this SMU game plan for several years. One concern for him as a young man, of course, and hope this isn't something that's going to keep him out long term. But can most certainly see the look of concern on Coach Hudson's face.
It's a very important match for both sides. For SMU, this has not been the start to the season that they would have liked. So they're trying to get back on track. We mentioned the preseason ranking as high as number 5 in the country. They have since dropped out of those. North Carolina has dropped out of rankings as well, despite a couple of very competitive draws against numbers 1 and 2 in the country. But this is an SMU team that made an Elite 8 last year. A couple of College Cup appearances, one with their head coach Kevin Hudson as a player in 2000. There is a high standard, which you talked about earlier as making them a great fit for this conference when they entered a season ago.
Yeah, this has always been a fantastic program with rightfully earned pressure and ambitions going into every season. Now, we mentioned that the number of players that these Tar Heels had to integrate. They had 13 newcomers as well, you know, with 8 transfers and 5 true freshmen. And this has become more indicative of the college landscape, as you don't have very long, you know, a couple of weeks at best really to have your full team in place before you start the heart of your schedule.
So Zarnik is to his feet.
Unfortunately, does not look like he's going to be able to continue.
Yeah.
As Coach Hudson calls for the sub.
Good show of respect from head coach of North Carolina, Carlos Samuano there.
Oh, great sportsmanship, and also shows the respect he has for Zarnik as a player. But just love to see that camaraderie between coaches and players in general. At the end of the day, it's about these young men, and no one likes to see someone get injured.
The good news for SMU is they're relatively deep, especially at that position. Enzo Pinozo, who was effective in the first half, re-enters.
And he's one of the vocal leaders of this team, so he'll step right in. Should not be a drop-off. He knows the role and expectations.
Getting right to work with it at his feet. Maybe just a little much on the pass.
Well, he had been warming up for the last 5 minutes or so. So he was definitely ready for his opportunity.
Crop called for the foul. So SMU maintains possession. Another set piece for Brunet here. Wide right on a couple in the second half. We'll see where he takes this one.
This one's from the other side, so I would expect this one, and based on where it is on the pitch, would expect this to be a service to the far post. I'd keep an eye on Slade Starnes on this one. He's an aerial threat.
Low-lying service. Mathey heads it away for North Carolina. So back to Brunet and back to SMU. A sprint. Ryan Clanton Pimentel before a cross is knocked around. Bracken Serra double teams. Gets it to check to clear it away. Over the top, Mitchell ends up with it. Steps to the side a couple of times, but a great defensive play.
Was Frogson getting down for that? That was a fantastic defensive play because Mitchell is a handful. I mean, he is so dynamic. What a great center of gravity. I mean, he just is a shifty player. Can absolutely see why he was preseason All-ACC watch list.
We did the redirect a couple of times, right? Head fake to the right, sends it left. Use that consecutive tries to work his way around multiple defenders. It was a long throw in. Another miss hit by Brunet. And a man down. Jalen Mitchell on the ground for SMU. Next week's featured ACC Network women's soccer and volleyball matches include Wednesday at 6 Eastern, number 6 Notre Dame hosting number 18 North Carolina at Alumni Stadium in South Bend, followed by 5th-ranked Pitt taking on 10th-ranked SMU at Moody Coliseum. Both are also available on the all-new ESPN app. Mustangs have already lost a player in Owen Zarnick. Jalen Mitchell has been the pacemaker for them offensively. That would be a shame to say the least if he's not able to continue.
Always very careful on a potential head injury. See the trainer going through the list of questions, making sure. The way he's pulling up those socks, looks like he's going to continue.
Matthias Dick, the reserve, who will enter in Mitchell's stead. So perhaps a more thorough evaluation necessary for Mitchell. That's what that says to me.
Yep, looks like it. Don't believe he's been ruled out yet, but you see the evaluation continuing, the coaching staff keeping him very close on the sideline. So would say he's still hopefully in play to rejoin this match. But again, primary concern, let's hope he's not injured.
Emmanuel, that's maybe as long as he's had it at his feet at a given time so far in this game.
He's usually not the guy who's going to keep them in possession. He's the guy that's going to finish it off.
Ball ahead, and it outruns Flores. Sandmeyer mistimed a header. Came down with it anyway. SMU with it, one touch. Emmanuel to Dick. Same thing, and it's poked by Berge.
Again, the second balls. SMU still collecting a lot of those second balls, and they're able to maintain possession, which they were not doing effectively for the bulk of the first half.
Trying to get it into some space. Crop there for North Carolina.
And definitely a significant increase in compact possession play for SMU in this half.
Dominguez from the box finds Landsberg.
Dominguez had to react quickly to be ready for that one.
One touch, Emmanuel back to Landsberg, out for Dick. Centers it up. Soft touch. The cross, and the header goes wide. Quality opportunity for the Mustangs there, but Flores cannot square it up.
That was a great opportunity, all really spearheaded by Landsberg coming out of the back. He ultimately gets the cross. Flores wishes he could have that one back. Arguably the best build of the match for SMU. They've grown progressively more and more dangerous as this match has gone on.
Lots of quality passing, heavy possession for the Mustangs in the last stretch.
The longer this score line stays consistent, the more pressure that is on these Tar Heels as the favorite and expected to win this game at home. And the less pressure and opportunity opens up for these SMU Mustangs.
A lot happening there, but Dylan Kropp fouls on the tackle trying to stop the run. He's been animated. It has not been a walk in the park for him tonight.
I do not feel like I've seen Dylan Kropp very happy this evening. and honestly, you can see the battle scars on his face for that interaction in the first half. I mean, it has been a chippy game at times, and he seemed to have been involved in a lot of it from a physicality standpoint.
Rarely the beneficiary of the physicality to this point, which is rare for the Xavier transfer.
Yep.
Landsberg taps it back to Brunet, gets it back at his feet. Sends it in, and whoa, what an effort by Emmanuel just to even get a shot off there. Tapped it up to himself.
Quite the effort. We talked about Berge's Sports Center goal last game. This had the making of it. Great job keeping this active and again, playing it up to himself to give himself an option, and that was not far from the far post. Now notice that entire possession started from another planned set piece. You know, we saw one execution in the first half. SMU has a nice package of set pieces they've rolled out this match. And that particular play, and we've seen Landsberg get more and more involved. He tracked all the way across the field, did a slight layoff to Brunei, continued his run, got it as an outlet, and then played it in for a quick cross in the box.
That was a quick possession for North Carolina. That's kind of been the story lately.
It really has. I thought Carolina most certainly was the better team in the first half defensively in terms of condensing and cutting down available passing lanes, and we've seen SMU do a much better job this half. And again, winning another second ball, repressing.
Emmanuel out for Flores against Kropp. He cannot get around him.
Very well defended by Kropp. That was not an easy ball to win. SMU had a lot of momentum running forward.
Abiel reverses to Bracken Serra. Nikolai and Bracken Serra unable to connect, just not on the same page there.
Well, we were just speaking about the connectivity, and we saw the frustration from Nikolai. He wanted Bracken Serra to be a little deeper and receive that one square.
Missed opportunity, check popping forward, cannot fully gain possession for the Tar Heels.
And again, Darren, I think very important to note how early in the season we are and how many new players are being integrated.
Brunei receives from Salvo. Brunei again, and it's tapped by Frogson.
So Brunei got an additional touch on the way out. Good job by Frogson creating that goal kick.
That looked a little bit different. North Carolina seemed to be aligned properly in place and moving with the ball for that possession there.
Exactly, and we see Mitchell coming back in, but I was just about to comment, when Mitchell was hurt, we saw Coach Simwane pull everyone together. And I saw him gesture to the team to calm down. Let's get our composure. And we have seen it for the last 5-10 minutes. They've looked more composed, especially defensively. There was a lot more space and opportunity earlier in this half.
Backheel tap from Emmanuel. Out. Mitchell on the ground, and Cordes goes down and gets it. And that relatively inconsequential, I would think. Cordes, it looked like, wanted to distribute, seemingly frustrated that it just wasn't there. But as we've talked about, there's been a lot more of that than I think we've seen from North Carolina so far this year, just throughout the fluidity of this game.
Yeah, and some of that I think is indicative to how this game started. You know, again, scoring a goal in the first 4 minutes, dominating possession early on. And we've watched SMU grow back into this game.
Mitchell on the wing. Again, Frogson holds strong. Check, tried to step it to the side of Landsberg.
Another second and 50-50 ball, Darren. What SMU has been elite at in this second half is keeping UNC pinned back. I mean, they're keeping possession much higher and getting the quality chances as a result.
Scorsia with the step aside, through ball, cross, and the header down, but into Cordez's arms.
That was a phenomenal point-blank reaction save from Cordes. It does not get more wide open in the header than this. Look at this ball being centered. Cordes with a great job coming up with that, reading the eyes, following the motion, keeping that across the line.
It could have been a lead for Milton Lopez and the Mustangs. Instead, we remain tied at 1, and now a player for each team is down.
Milton Lopez has had some very big moments for this team. He scored a brace in the Elite Eight this year, so that would not be abnormal for him to get a potential, game-winning goal with 15 minutes left. He's ready for these moments. That's just pure power against power. Arguably the two most dangerous players on the field from an aerial standpoint. Both go up for that head ball, bump heads.
North Carolina's Sandmeyer, Starnes the player down for SMU. A star at Furman made his way back to Dallas, where he's from, to be a member of this SMU team. Talking to head coach Kevin Hudson earlier this week, he kind of laughed when we asked about Starnes, air quotes, coming home, right? He said, I don't know that it was that simple. It helps. I'm sure it did help, but he had opportunities to go a little bit of anywhere.
And Coach Hudson wanted to let us know he had to work very hard for that one. It wasn't a presumption. He was just coming home to finish his career in Dallas. And to his point, I'm sure Slade Starnes had the ability to go pretty much anywhere he wanted to go. He was a player in very high demand. When you talk about picking premium players out of the transfer portal, I mean, how much better can you get? Everything he's done, tremendous player. Had a chance to watch him quite a bit with Furman last season, specifically in the SoCon final against UNCG. Big time player.
Good to see him on his feet, walking on his own power. I think we're going to get both players involved back in this game. Oh, a yellow card issued.
Ooh,
a red card.
That's Coach Jeff Nagaya for UNC. And looks like one of the SMU players gets a red as well.
So a red was then pulled out. So I believe there has been a red card issued, one to North Carolina, one to SMU. So it is an assistant coach for both sides. And both coaches, as a result, will be ejected. Well, I guess we were focused on the players and making sure that they were going to be able to resume. I didn't have my attention set on the sideline, so I didn't really see what happened. Seemingly that escalated pretty quickly.
Pretty quickly and dramatically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't really know how that started.
A red card has been awarded to assistant coaches from both schools.
So both head coaches obviously trying to better understand what's happening. I believe the SMU coach involved is Michael King, the recruiting coordinator and assistant coach. You saw he was the one that was very expressive on his walk well elsewhere. And we've resumed play.
Well, try to keep the action on the pitch for the final 15. But that escalated quickly.
So red cards assessed, and an assistant coach for both sides is gone.
Well, really, it speaks to the competitiveness of this match at the end of the day. You know, both of these teams want to win this game. Both of these teams are in this game. And we've seen the chippiness. You know, we've seen a few more fouls lately, and it's carried over to the sideline as well.
Mitchell can't get it through. Headed away by Riley Berge of North Carolina. Back to Bernay with it at his feet, and this is another second opportunity for SMU.
Consistent theme, and it has mostly been Bernay. He does such a great job off the ball movement. Again, he does it offensively, but defensively as well. He puts himself in a position, plays the 6 role very well, orchestrating traffic and cutting down lanes in that midfield.
You talk about the intensity of this that perhaps led to that instance with the assistant coaches. It came in the aftermath, too, of a physical play where an important player for each side was down on the ground and potentially not able to return to this game, right? So it just adds to the fire. And now Bernay and Abial get tangled up. Possession is the call until it is not.
Abial tried his best to create the professional foul closer to midfield. He simply could not catch up with Abial. His change of pace, oh man, he is such an exciting player to watch. Abial with the quick change of direction gets around Bernay. Bernay is trying to grab his arm. Referee correctly allowed him to play on until he lost possession. But it just shows how dangerous Abial can be.
So Bernay receives a yellow card. And now the book has gotten a little heavy.
And I doubt that will be the final caution of this game. The temperature is hot outside, but the temperature of this match has increased significantly. Not quite sure if I've ever seen Coach Hudson smile, but he most certainly is not smiling right now. Very focused on this match.
SMU holds form. Defends the set piece well. Burnett has it tapped away, and now a foul on North Carolina as Rygaard Hansen.
Very fine margins in this game. That could have gone either way. Brunet just got the yellow. I don't know. That one's very close. Most certainly could have been a foul called on either player. Well, we see this North Carolina team increasing the pressure, which ultimately led to their initial goal. This is going to be exciting final 11 minutes.
Nice touch by Emmanuel to find Mitchell. Outside move, he's around Frogson. Berge catches up. And a whistle reverts the direction of possession.
Berge has done many things well this match, but specifically providing depth and cover for his outside backs, covers Frogson again, which is imperative when you have a player like Mitchell in the wing. That second line of defense is so important.
Cortez booms it. Starnes and Sandmeyer there again. This time Starnes comes away with the 50-50 ball, but North Carolina has possession. Tarheels leading scorer Nacho Abial has it ripped away. Mansberg a big left. Mathey with a burst, just a touch too far ahead.
Great burst. He does such a good job turning those corners that you mentioned. Just placed that one a little too far ahead, but has done a good job keeping it alive.
Tight quarters for Abial. He kept it in bounds.
Another caution coming out.
And another card issue on the aggressive tackle of Nacho Abiol. This time it's Clanton Pimentel.
That really progressed through 3 or 4 different guys. I mean, this is
incidental contact between players there. And here's another card.
Parker O'Farrell getting into the action.
He has not been long in this game. But O'Farrell, the senior from Raleigh.
O'Farrell has had some very big moments for these Tar Heels. Perennial player for them for many years.
So now North Carolina's throwing.
Six cautions in this match. 4 for the Mustangs and 2 for the Tar Heels, and counting.
That's also not including the red cards given to assistant coaches. Mitchell.
Mitchell wants that one back. He had Emmanuel streaking, just did not play it enough in front, or behind the defense rather.
Brunet is down injured for SMU, so North Carolina with a man advantage. Back heel flick to check. He cannot get a shot off. And now Callum Frogson is issued a yellow card.
7th caution of players on the pitch. Now one thing SMU really wanted to do coming into this match was to limit the big opportunities and key moments from the Tar Heels. That was almost a moment.
What'd you see there? Frogson maybe just late to it?
Yeah, I think just a little late coming in behind. At this point, when the match reaches this temperature, it doesn't take much to get a caution.
Sure, I mean, sure.
Yeah.
It creates a scenario in the final 8 minutes here where a lot of guys on the pitch have to be careful. Or mindful at the least.
You're absolutely right there, and it changes the way you have to approach the game. It would be nearly catastrophic at this point in the match for either team to lose a player. The back and forth nature of this game. So both teams definitely want to finish with 11. But especially when your back line starts collecting yellow cards, you're at such a disadvantage.
Well, it changes the way you have to play, but more specifically, the way you have to defend.
Cannot take any chances. You know, you miss a tackle, it could be an instant red.
And the problem is twofold, right? If you are not as aggressive, maybe you miss stopping an opportunity. But if you do maybe play as usual or close to as usual, you risk losing that man. And then, I mean, there's a gap in the defense.
Well, you risk losing that man, and this is already a match where we've seen 2 PKs rewarded.
Manual physical, chasing Nikolai from behind, so that'll slow things down.
Good job by Emmanuel tracking back. Nikolai was off to the races down that wing.
Allowing allowance for a substitution as Ryan Dugan re-enters. He played the back half of the first half.
He provided an instant burst when he subbed in the first half.
Strong first touch. Thankfully, some teammates to corral it. Clarkson. Mishandled. That's scary with Emmanuel up there. Berge tries it through. Landsberg is there for SMU.
Berge got caught between two ideas there. He had Nikolai wide on the wing, then he had a couple of guys coming over from the other side and played it right in between both runs.
Nearing 5 minutes left. This one has gotten very tense. 1-1 since the first half. Both goals scored on penalty kicks.
We're at that point in the game where one moment, one burst, one mistake could really be the difference in this match.
First moment of action for Noah Irvin, Jr. from Phoenix, Arizona. Fresh legs for the Mustangs.
And that is absolutely what that substitution is about. Let's bring in a dynamic, fresh guy who can make a difference in these final 5 minutes.
Williams can't split the defenders. Callum Frogson's done such a great job on that assignment.
Been extremely impressed with Frogson this evening.
Brunet. Emmanuel behind him, Escorzia. And Frogson, maybe a movement of faith there. You headed away, just hoping nobody's there.
I think it honestly surprised both teams dropping in there. Took a minute for both to react.
Chases down the forward pass. North Carolina back with it. Got SMU spaced out a little bit, or they did just moments ago.
And Nikolai was the isolation. You had an overload on the left side, and he was there but didn't quite get recognized quickly enough.
Nacho Abeol. Trying to slip away for North Carolina. He does. He's tackled from behind. And it's another booking. Yellow card issued to Alex Salvo, and it keeps it with North Carolina.
So look at Abiel once again. He's so just shifty and dynamic over there. Does a great job keeping the ball under him. He's just relentless, well-earned foul.
And he got around, initially it was Irvin, the new substitution.
Yep, the freshest guy on the field. Now, with 3 minutes left, this is an extremely dangerous opportunity for the Tar Heels.
There it is, headed and deflected by Dominguez.
That had the makings of a game winner all over it. Dominguez with a great save.
Crop with the header, point blank. And a flag on the pass, offside for Milton Lopez. Wow, that was the ripest opportunity of the evening for North Carolina.
Great ball, Crop. Good job getting away from Emmanuel. Gets himself in position. Now we saw Milton, the same thing on the other side. We've seen 2 point-blank headers saved by both keepers.
Just the second save of the day for Martin Dominguez. He's had to come off of his line for some stuff, but really has not been terribly engaged in this match. That is a huge save.
Oh, absolutely.
Cortez
especially in that
out
moment.
to clear it away, so that briefly evades an Emmanuel opportunity. SMU regains another opportunity. Inlet pass, skips away. And it's a goal kick for North Carolina.
Carolina going to push numbers very high. Cortez will get this as high up the pitch as he can. With only a minute and a half left, you expect to maybe have 1 or 2 additional opportunities at most.
Dugan can't squeeze it past Dominguez. That started with Sandmeyer winning the 50-50, and it was just a glance off the top of his head in the right direction.
And I love the confidence of Dominguez to come out in that 1v1 situation, considering the PK that was given up early in the match in a similar situation.
Brunet passes into some space. Pinozo gives it, gets it right back. Mathey on the defensive for North Carolina. Pinozo right place. Escorcia chased down by Andrew Czech, but wins the ball ultimately ahead, and it's too far for Emmanuel.
Andrew Czech with great work rate in there to nearly win that one back. Did all the right things.
And that would have been the final opportunity for either side to snatch a win, but a really tightly contested 1-1 draw is our final here in Chapel Hill.
Darren, both of